Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and wow, another absolutely fantastic show coming your way today. And we also got Dr. Michael Mantell back. We missed him the last couple of weeks, so I'm excited to have him back on the show. And we got this absolutely fantastic guest that we're going to talk about redirecting fitness culture toward exercise for the holistic well-being. But I tell you what, I can't even start the show unless we mirror all of the platforms up at the same time. So, Todd, let's do it.
It's Your Life is sponsored by James J.C. Cooley.
Life is a series of circles and cycles, phases and stages. These are your experiences that teach you the lessons of life. You can either ignore them or embrace them. Welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life. James is a motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the James Cooley Foundation. James is here to equip you to strive for greatness and to overcome adversity. It's time to get equipped today for the challenges of tomorrow. Now, here's the host of It's Your Life, James Cooley.
Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley. I tell you, we got an absolutely fantastic show coming your way today. We got great guests. We also got Dr. Michael Mantell back here today. And, it's I miss my co-host. I missed him and his guest, but he's back. But I tell you, we're going to talk about this great topic, Todd, fitness. Fitness comes in so many different ways. And our guest that we're going to have on the show today is going to educate us and redirect us. But I better shut up before Dr. Michelle Cooley. Thank God I took us under. But Dr. Michael Mantell, how you doing today?
Thank you very much. Good to be back. It's a pleasure. I was away for a week or so, and I missed co-hosting with you guys. And I know today we're going to be talking about something that's really important, and that is how we integrate physical well-being and mental well-being in the exercise that we do. And we do have a great guest.
Oh, yeah. And, Dr. Mike, we can't even start without the executive producer and co-host here, Dr. Michelle Cooley. How you doing today? How you doing?
I'm doing good. You already told him the title, so I don't know.
What are we going to do with this guy?
We're going to talk about this offline.
Okay.
Michelle, I'm so happy to have this guest on and Dr. Mike back today. And I'll tell you, wherever you're watching us at, if you're watching us on E360 TV, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, over 55 other live platforms, welcome to the show. And all you have to do is go to the platform that you're watching us on, and you can put comments, ask any question that you might have, or you can pick up the phone, dial KCBQ AM 1170 answer FM 96.1 by doing this 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170. Michelle, let's get this show going. Can you please introduce the title of the show, the purpose of the show, and introduce this absolutely fantastic guest?
Oh, most definitely. So it's 360-degree Health Day, and the title of today's show is Redirecting Fitness Culture Toward Exercise for Holistic Well-Being. And Dr. Michael Mantell, a guest co-host, and Dr. James J.C. Cooley, they'll be sitting down with Dr. Michael Hosking. He is the creator of Revocycle Mind and Body Cycling and also an author. He's going to discuss the current fitness culture, exercise as a mind-body practice, Cartesian dualism, mind separate from body, exercise as a spiritual practice. So let's talk a little bit about this guest today. Again, Dr. Michael Hosking has taught at Indiana University and Davidson College and is the creator of Revocycle, Mind and Body Cycling, a mindfulness-based indoor cycling program. He has studied exercise and the brain through Harvard University with John Ratey, MD, Harvard University Medical School, author of Spark, the Revolutionary New Science of Exercise and the Brain, and teaches how exercise can promote mental health through neurogenesis and reduction of the stress response. He currently serves on the program advisory board of the John W. Brick Mental Health Foundation and is an advisor to the Wellbeing think tank. So please, audience, welcome to the show, Dr. Michael Hosking.
Hey, Michael. Dr. Hosking, how are you today?
Yes, great to be here, you guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us. Your intelligence, your experience is going to educate our audience all over the world, and we appreciate you taking the time to be here.
Happy to be here.
And we also, this topic is so important because a lot of people think there is only one way to work out or sweat, and they're not doing it the right way. And there's so many different avenues to, I believe, to attain fitness and health. And so we all need to hear about this, so welcome to the show, my friend. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dr. Cooley.
JC. So, hey, Dr. Mike, can you tell our audience a little bit about you, where you from, what makes you click, why you're so passionate about what you do?
Sure. I'm trained as an academic. Are you talking? Yeah. Trained as an academic and a PhD in evolutionary biology, ecology, behavioral biology from Indiana University. And I spent a number of years there getting my PhD. Then I taught there as an assistant professor after I finished my PhD. I then went on to Davidson College in North Carolina, where I taught 3 or 4 years. And then I decided I was going to get out of academia. And that was a big leap for me because I really had only been trained in biology and I had only practiced teaching biology. And so that was a big leap for me. I love Davidson College. I love Indiana University. They're both wonderful places, but I needed to be out on my own. So I left academia and loaded everything I owned into my 1987 Saab and drove out here to Portland, Oregon, found an apartment, and then I just started a new life. And in the beginning, that was developing an online learning system for teaching math and science, mostly to homeschoolers. So I did that for a number of years, became a consultant in the field, and I ended up being a national director of curriculum for an online learning company. And then all heck broke loose in my own personal life. And that is really the foundation of the story. And it's that time period that got me into where I am now and talking with you.
Isn't it amazing how upheaval actually lands us in better places oftentimes? When did you create Revocycle?
I created Revocycle Mind and Body Cycling in 2010-11 timeframe. And I did that after a very difficult experience in my life that got me interested in exercise in the brain.
So tell us a little bit about how you moved from, I'm going to get on a bicycle and do some cycling, and to, I'm going to get on a bicycle and help my physical fitness, my mental health, and my overall well-being. It's not just cycling anymore. Revocycle has changed the whole nature of not just cycling, by the way, but of exercise.
Mm-hmm.
I want our audience to understand when we go to the gym, or we get on a bike, we go for a walk on a treadmill, it's not just muscle. And you are the centerpiece of this shift. So tell us about how Revocycle has moved us into physical fitness, mental health, and overall well-being.
Sure. And if I may share a personal story here, because I think it's important that people know this and how I directed my life towards this kind of work. In 2008 or 9, I experienced a very severe depressive episode and PTSD episode. And that was related to childhood abuse. I'll just leave it at that. I think maybe YouTube has problems with certain words. And that was a severe episode that landed me in a psychiatric hospital for a month. I took antidepressants, anti-anxiety drugs, atypical antipsychotics on top of all of that for 2 years. Nothing was working. And I went into my psychiatrist's office one week, and she said to me, Michael, I don't know what to do for you. I've never seen anything like this.
Wow.
Which is a frightening thing.
Michael, I'm going to interrupt for a minute. We have about a minute before we take a break. I want our audience to absorb the power of what you're saying. All of this enormous psychiatric difficulty, inpatient, medication, and then the psychiatrist tells you, can't help you. My goodness.
Challenge. It is a deep and dark valley that one needs to confront. And if we're going to break, I'll finish it after our break. It was a stimulus.
You know what? We're going to take a break right now, but I got to hear this. I got to hear it. The audience want to hear it. Tell you what, as you see that introduction section, Dr. Mike and Dr. Mike is putting it out there. And if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is go to the platform that you're watching us on and go to the comment section, ask any question you might have, or pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. Todd at KCBQ, AM 1170 answer, KCBQ 96.1. We'll get you an answer. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break. Okay. Todd, you there?
Yes, we got 1 minute.
Oh.
Okay.
We still have a minute left. Wow, okay. Our timing was a little messed up. But Michael, your story sounds so passionate and so intense. I don't want our audience to miss a word of this, because this is the transition. This is where you took your experience and said, wait a minute, there's a better way.
Yeah, no, and we'll get into more of this, but it is one of those turning points in your life. And even better, everything I'd done up to that point had prepared me for this new direction. And I'm using everything I did as a graduate student, as a professor, now in this new work. So I can't
hold that thought, because Todd just went to. So I'll tell you again, if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is go to the platform that you're watching us on, ask any questions that you might have, or pick up the phone, dial 1-888-344-1170. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
Hi, I'm Todd Pierick, the producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And in the new audio version of his book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, you can join James as he shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of his book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by Dr. James Cooley on Amazon.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? In everything that you do.
back to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life. And I tell you, just having so much fun just in the introductory section. And we can really dive off into the topic that we're here for. And we got Dr. Michael Hosking is going to really tell us, first of all, Doc, I want to pick up from the last question, but can you tell our viewers and our listeners why you chose the topic that we're talking about today and why it's so important?
Well, I feel like fitness as a culture is really constrained, and as we in the industry know that it reaches around 20% of the population year after year after year. And I think I have some ideas why that is, and I would love to bring the 80% of people that don't come into fitness back in, because I think it's profoundly healthy and good for us.
Yeah, so tell us about, and I think Dr. Michael Mantell went into this. You were talking a little bit about the Revocycle. How can that help patients, fitness folks, obtain a better understanding of fitness and also help increase their stamina and things that they do?
And I think this gets into that pivot that we were talking about from the actual difficulties you were having emotionally, severe difficulties, to the point where a psychiatrist says, I can't help you.
Yeah.
But something clicked inside of your well-educated brain.
Yeah. Right. So what happened was no medicines were working for me in my PTSD and my depression and my anxiety. And when a psychiatrist says to you, I don't know what to do for you, this is the worst I've ever seen, that's a scary moment. And I went home that day and I looked at my guitars, I looked at my stereo, and I looked at my bicycle, none of which I had touched in over 2 years. And I thought, I need to do one of these things. They used to bring me joy, and it's either that or go on lithium and disability. So I decided I'd ride my bike. And as you probably know, if you have severe depression, severe PTSD, it's nearly impossible to gather all of your stuff together, get airs in the tires, and go out for a bike ride. That seems overwhelming.
Right.
So I took it step by step, and over a period of 5 days or so, I got all my stuff together, and then the only thing that was left was to put air in the tires and go for a ride, which I did. And it was a very short ride. I used to be a bike racer, and 50, 60-mile rides was nothing. This was a 4-mile ride. 4, 2 out, 2 back. And I sat on my couch, and I felt better. And I thought, I don't know what this is, but I'll try it tomorrow. And I started to put together a series of rides day after day. I started to feel better, and I went to my psychiatrist, and I told her that I'm not taking the medicine anymore. I'm feeling better from riding my bike, and I'm going to try and figure out why that is, because I'm fascinated by this as a biologist. And that's where the pivot happened. I started to dive into the medical literature. I started to dive into the science of exercise in the brain, exercise and depression. And I realized there's a whole world there I knew nothing about.
So how does Revocycle align itself with the latest research on mind-body functioning as far as exercise goes?
Well, Revocycle is built on the premise that exercise is profoundly good for us, independent of anything like weight loss or building muscles or changing your body in any fashion. It's about the idea that movement is inherent to us as human beings. We're built to move. That's why we have joints. That's why we have ligaments. That's why we have muscles. And that moving mindfully can be a form of meditation. In fact, is a form of meditation. And by healing myself through mindfulness-based bicycling, I was harnessing the power of meditation, being present in the moment, tuning into the body and the breath. But I was also activating some biological pathways that are pretty clear, and they profoundly benefit the brain and can help prevent or even cure depression. So the Revocycle mind and body cycling brand was built around those two basic ideas. Movement as a meditation, to be present in the moment, and that's profoundly healthy. And exercise activates certain biological, physiological pathways that can profoundly benefit the brain, and that too is really healthy.
And you also bring in something that's very dear and important to me, and that's the spiritual.
Yeah.
Tell us about how spirituality enters into the work you're doing.
Yeah, I was hesitant to talk about that for a long time, but when I got on my bike, after I was told that my psychiatrist couldn't help me, and after I'd been to the psychiatric hospital, being in the moment, feeling my body work, accomplishing difficult tasks like climbing up over the mountain here in Portland, building that sense of self-efficacy, and feeling the reduction in the stress response. All of that wrapped together felt deeply spiritual to me.
Let me quickly define self-efficacy. And very simply, that means the belief that I can do it.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yes.
Okay. Now this is incredible because JC, what we're talking about, you go on 6-mile runs every day. This is a guy who does a 6-mile run every day.
6-mile walk.
Walk. Okay. He's being modest, but he does a 6-mile walk every day.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, talk a little bit about JC. I want you to share your experience with your mental well-being and your meditation as you're walking and the spirituality that I know you live with.
Oh yeah, and bottom line is this: we all have to have an avenue that we can relate to from a self perspective. What I mean by self, we have challenges every day. We have to, in my mind, my 6-mile hike give me an opportunity to think about everything that happened yesterday, and I don't try not to go any further than yesterday because I go back too far in the past. But it gives me an opportunity to do a checklist. Did I take care of this? Did I handle this? Why am I still thinking about this? Which is going to set me back. And so I meditate, I pray, hike, I get into my zone. And because 6 miles, sometimes you don't want to do it. But it gives me an avenue to release all the negative energies that is in me from yesterday or day before, whatever that is. And it's so important to be able to do that because it let me prioritize the things that I got to take care of today.
So let's come back to Revocycle Mind and Body. Let's go back into specifically what a client might expect if he or she or they are taking a Revocycle Mind Body experience.
Yeah, that's a great question. And JC, I love your description of that. And I hope we can go deeper because I have some thoughts about that. But yeah, we're indoor cycling, group cycling with music, right? So we're all probably pretty familiar with spin class at the gym or some of the famous spin brands that grew up in the last, say, 10, 15 years, SoulCycle being the most famous of them. And almost all group fitness programs pursue what I call distractive fitness. And by distractive fitness, I mean these programs are either consciously or subconsciously built on the premise that exercise is horrible and no fun, but we need to do it in order to change the body. And once we change the body, we'll be happy. I feel like much of group fitness or all fitness in general is built on that premise that exercise is no fun, but we need to do it to get hot. And once we're hot, we'll be happy. So in order to get you to do it, we're going to distract, entertain you during the class. And if you think about group fitness classes, you'll see that most of them are very loud with loud music, yelling instructors, lots of different choreography, lots of different moves in order to keep people engaged. I fundamentally, from my very heart, disagree with that approach to fitness. And even better, I know that there's another way to do it that's even more fulfilling and impactful. And so the Revocycle Indoor cycling experience is more like yoga than it is like any group fitness class or spin class you've seen. It is done with intention. The instructor speaks in a very calm voice, just like a yoga instructor. We call attention to the breath and to the body. We encourage you to be in the moment, to quiet the mind so that we're not regretting yesterday or worrying about tomorrow, and we're fully in the moment. This is meditation. This is yoga. So I tell people, in answer to your question, think yoga, but indoor cycling.
Now, is Revocycle Mindbody, are you in gyms all around the country?
No. We had a studio here in Oregon, in Portland, and with COVID, we had to shut it down. And people think that's a very sad thing, but I want to be very clear. I'm a biologist. When COVID came, I knew exactly what was going to happen over the next 3 to 4 years. And my lease for the physical space was up 2 weeks after COVID hit.
Oh, wow.
And I was lucky to be able to not renew that lease when many, many, many other business owners had to hold on to the lease, had to pay the rents, and also could not be open because of government mandates. So I was lucky in that respect. So no, we're online now, but we're reaching out to wellness resorts and gyms to license the program into their spaces.
Hold that thought, because we got to take a station break. And wow, you mentioned about cycling. I taught cycle group exercises for 20 plus years. And yeah, I was one of them screamers.
I can imagine that.
So I want to find out a little bit more about this. And I want to see if I can find a class where I can just go check it out. I'll tell you what. We're going to take a station break. If you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is just go to the platform that you're watching us on, or pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. Again, 1-888-344-1170. When we come back, we're going to get Todd's point of view on this conversation. It's your life. We'll see you shortly after the break.
Life is a series of
There's
circles
more
of
stories.
Dr. James J.C. Cooley from the United States of America, and I am here to just say, first of all, I'm so happy and honored to be on it, to be in the Coffee Book 2023, Unified Brain Z, and the other organizations. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this collection.
Teach you the lessons of life. You can either ignore them or embrace them. Welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. Dr. James Cooley is a motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation. Dr. Cooley is here to equip you to strive for greatness and overcome adversity. It's time to get equipped today for the challenges of tomorrow. Now, here's the host of It's Your Life, Dr. James Cooley.
Hello, welcome back to It's Your Life. And I tell you, this great guest, Dr. Hosking, is educating us. And I cannot wait to attend one of these, what he called it, a meditation, holistic spin class, and all these other things combined. And where we're not, as an instructor myself, when not screaming, trying to get everybody motivated. Y'all go in and out of the sack. Oh. Because as an instructor for 20 years, just getting people excited. So I have matured a little bit, and so probably don't have to scream that much. So I got to attend one of those classes. So Todd, I'm sorry, Doc.
Well, I want to talk about that a little bit. I totally get that instructors want to motivate their students, and I totally get that students want to feel motivated. But let me tell you a little story about something I used to say in my classes. I'd get a full room Saturday morning, right? We got the coffee going, the music's on, we're getting ready to start. I'd stay to the class. You know that feeling, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's a great feeling, right? 24 people. I mean, it is. And I say to them, I know you want me to motivate you. I know you do. I don't want that job. I want to teach you to find that within. I will help you with that. But I want you to look within. Do not give me that power. Take it for yourself. Let's settle in.
I like that. I like that.
I used to train trainers. I'm talking about more than a decade ago with a simple statement. Have your clients work in before they work out.
Yeah.
Very simple. And people thought we were crazy then. But then people probably still think we're crazy. It's all about muscle and come on, you can do it, reps and sets. But you're bringing something so much more important. And I'm sure, for example, Michelle, when you see James after one of his 6-mile hikes, what do you see? You don't just see a guy with muscle and losing weight. You see something deeper, don't you?
Yes, I see that he's very relaxed, whether when he's walking or going to the gym, steam room, sauna, it relaxes him. And those days, let's say he may miss a day or two or whatever is going on, I see let's say, antsiness, that he needs something to not, I would say, calm him down, something to relax him and give him that sense of additional peace. And that is his outlet. And I think he might comment on my outlet as well when I do my workouts.
Well, the same. Michelle, she's dedicated. I mean, she go to the gym, she do her thing. I can't get her out there to walk with me anymore like she used to. I think that's too much for her. But she go and do her thing. And she comes back, relaxed, calm. Let me tell you about my workout. Let me all that other type of stuff.
So Michael, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
You think that we are not training trainers in the way of looking at fitness holistically? Are you seeing more of this happening? What's your sense of how fitness trainers and fitness coaches are being trained in this arena?
Well, let me tie what we were just talking about into that. Dr. Michelle and JC both talked about how they're more relaxed, less stressed, and they can notice in each other after some form of workout. These are what I call, not me, everyone calls them intrinsic rewards of exercise, which means it has nothing to do with what your body looks like. It has nothing to do with building some toned shoulders or a booty or getting bicep. These are intrinsic rewards. And you see the stress reduction, you see the calmness, you see the ability to then tackle difficult problems because of the exercise. These intrinsic rewards, I think, are what we should be teaching to people in the fitness industry. I think we should be teaching it to trainers to teach people to tune into these intrinsic rewards, because guess what? You know the best way to build a lifetime habit of exercise? Intrinsic rewards. Notice your stress reduction. Notice your depression reduction. Notice your self-efficacy. Notice that you're buoyed by the social interactions. Notice those. And we can teach trainers explicitly to learn to highlight these in their classes. And that then would build a very loyal and a long-term clientele.
Absolutely. And so Revocycle is leading the way in this regard and bringing this to more and more people. You mentioned online. How can people log on to a Revocycle workout?
We do online classes through a platform called Recess TV, and there's a bunch of classes on the Revocycle YouTube channel that people can check out.
And is there a cost involved for this?
Yeah, we have monthly subscriptions for our Recess TV channel. And then you can also buy individual classes, and they're scheduled there. You can find the schedule and register for classes through that.
During COVID, everything was online and people loved it. They didn't have to leave. They didn't have to get dressed up in fancy workout clothes and all that. They could just do it in the comfort of their own home. So people can still do this in the comfort of their own home. Now, I'm interested in holistic health, which is a term we talk about a great deal. Can you define that for us?
Yes. It is the idea that mind, body, and I would add spirit are not disconnected. They are part of one whole thing called the organism, the person. And that, in order to promote health in any of those areas, we need to be thinking of them all together. In other words, one could promote mind or mental health through physical movement. One can produce spiritual health through physical movement, and so on.
It depends on the mind, doesn't it? The mind needs to be engaged in a certain way while we're moving.
Yes. Yeah, that's a tricky spot, right? Because meditators or great Buddhist teachers will tell you that you can't really have nothing in the mind. People think meditation is, I want to have my mind with absolutely nothing, emptiness. And that's not possible. But through movement and focusing on the movement and the body sensations and the breath, as they teach in yoga, or your position in space, we can then remove the stressful thoughts from before and after. And in reducing the stress by being in the moment through paying attention to the body and the breath, we then benefit our mental health and our physical health and spiritual health, if you ask me.
Right. I'm a real believer in the power of thinking. That's my background with Albert Ellis and Aaron Beck and all these people that I trained with. I believe that unless the mind is engaged, when we talk about it, you have to focus on. That means your mind is working.
Yes.
You have to be aware of. That means your mind, your thinking is working. One of the things that you mentioned real quickly is breathing. Let's talk about the importance of breathing. Bring that up for us.
Well, breathing, as all of you who have taken a yoga class will know, is an important part of the yogic practice. It's an important part of meditation practice. And breathing, here's what I love about breathing. It is both under autonomic control, which is you cannot think about it at all, and your body will breathe itself. And it will do that very successfully. But you can also think about it and control it.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, this fundamental thing about being alive, which is to bring the oxygen in to the lungs so it can get distributed to your tissues and cells, and to remove the carbon dioxide from the working tissues. This fundamental thing to staying alive becomes under conscious control. And the rhythmic nature of it and the necessity of doing it means it's just this beautiful thing that we can really tune into and practice. And then it has patterns that are related to mental states, right? You can imagine if someone right now came up to you and did something potentially violent to you, your breathing would change. It's under control. You would find stress. There'd be stress signals. Your brain would react to stress. It would prepare you for fight or flight or freeze or fawn. So your breath is related to mental states. And it turns out that we can trick our brain into different states by practicing different types of breathing. And all yogic masters have known this, and teachers of meditation and yoga know this as well. So it's just an amazing thing, right? That's fundamental, that can be done without our thinking about it, but yet we can take it into our hands and we can control it and we can shape it. And then shape it.
When we come back from our break, I'm going to be interested in whether or not we can get these kinds of benefits from activities other than cycling or yoga or Tai Chi or that sort of thing. What about weightlifting and, resistance training? We'll pick up on that when we get back.
Yeah, we're going to pick up on all of those things, but because those are so important, especially when you're trying to bring in every facet of obtaining the best mental health and the best fitness regimen that you can. And Dr. Hosking, I want to commend you for when you started to show off and you telling about how you fell off into these situations and how you was able to recover. So when we come back, we're going to pick up on all of those things because it's your life. And we'll be back shortly after this.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley. The
We live in a world today that people don't even care about how people see them. Don't realize that we can affect an entire generation and build our character. But you gotta do it with these 4 C's. Create, collaborate, then you commit with confidence. Create, collaborate, then you commit with confidence. It's the 4 C's. It's the 4 C's. In this life you are gonna grow, but there's things in this world that you gotta know. To be the best that you can be, you wanna grow real big into a strong tree. To be who you were created to be, the one who's gonna leave a legacy is you. But you got to have these 4 C's. Create, collaborate, then you commit with confidence. Create, collaborate, then you commit with confidence. It's the 4 C's. It's the 4 C's.
I've seen a smile convey I love you. I'm proud of who you are, the one that keeps us close when we're apart. Walking from the darkness of all that we've been through, it seems that there might be a way to leave behind the loneliness we've known and live again life of meaning.
Hello,
It's Your Life. Dr. James Cooley is a motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation. Dr. Cooley is here to equip you to strive for greatness and overcome adversity. It's time to get equipped today for the challenges of tomorrow. Now, here's the host of It's Your Life, Dr. James Cooley.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life, and I tell you, we're learning so much, and it's fun. It's fun when you have brilliant minds like the Dr. Mike and Dr. Mike. I mean, just putting these things together. Hey, Todd, I want you to give me your point of view on what you taking in right now.
Oh, this is a great show, and I'm the only one that's not a doctor here, so I think we should get right back to it.
Okay.
We're going to get right back to it, but hey, Dr. Hosking, I tell you, and we don't do this that often unless that guest is great. And we invite you back to the show if you have time.
Yeah.
Because you are fantastic. And what you say about that, Dr. Mike Mantell?
I say that we're just skimming the surface. Now, there's a lot to dig into here. And for people who are working out, and lots of people want to feel better and get better, and they want to get off meds, and they want to get away from all these treatments, and sometimes a simple activity like physical activity. They don't have to go to the gym and be an ooh-rah-rah guy. It is something very different. But there are people who do like weights and resistance training and push-ups and all that other stuff. And I'm curious about that, Michael Hosking. What about that? How does that fit into mind-body activity?
Any activity can be made meditative. Any exercise can be made meditative. It's in how you approach it. And I happen to believe that weightlifting, which I do 3 to 4 times a week for the last 25 years, is a beautiful way to practice meditation. And by that, I mean non-judgment, fully present in the moment. And because weightlifting is typically very difficult, and because we're using our bodies in the weightlifting, we have all kinds of things we can tune into when we're doing the weightlifting itself. Weightlifting is a meditation for me, and I listen to no music when I weightlift. I don't talk to anyone. I don't go with friends. I just practice tuning into my muscles and what they're saying to me and what my joints are saying to me. And I notice that if I get a little extra on this day, that I'm a little stronger than I was the other day. That feels pretty good. Do you notice how that feels good? Yes, I do. Those kinds of things. I use it as a way to be present in my body and celebrate it and to take care of it. And that in itself is a spiritual practice.
Let me
JC, go ahead. I was going to say something. JC, our guest has worked with one of the most highly esteemed mind-body thinkers, professionals in this country from Harvard University, John Ratey, who wrote a book called Spark. And it is a required reading for anyone in the behavioral science field and biology and so forth. And I'm curious about how, Michael, you and Dr. John Ratey got together and talk about the book.
Well, during that period of time when in between, when my psychiatrist said, I don't know what to do for you, I'm going to put you on lithium. And I started riding my bike and discovering that there's this whole new field of exercise in the brain. In that time period, I discovered John's book, which was published at almost the exact same time. And it's called Spark, the Revolutionary New Science of Exercise in the Brain. And I just became so interested in this as a biologist and as a person who had mental health struggles and a person who had helped heal themselves with exercise, that I called Harvard and I said, does this guy do any continuing education or professional development? And they said, yeah, he has continuing medical education classes he offers. And I asked him if I could take it. I said, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm a PhD, but could I take the class? And I said, sure. And they said, his next one's at Esalen in California in Big Sur on these dates. Would you like to go? I said, sign me up. So I spent a week there at Esalen studying exercise in the brain with, stroke doctors, with stroke medical doctors, right, who are interested in neurogenesis and neuroplasticity.
Wow. That's incredible. You mentioned meditation quite a few times. For folks out there that do not understand the term or do not understand what it means and how they can prepare for meditation, can you talk a couple of minutes on that one? What type of advice would you get them? We got about 4 minutes, 3.5 minutes left in the show.
Yeah, meditation is really hard for most people, including Buddhist monks, right? It is a difficult thing because our minds, as they say in Buddhism, are monkey mind, right? We are constantly grasping at things, which is a part of the Buddhist teaching, right? That's the root of suffering, is the grasping or the clinging, as they sometimes say. Our minds are constantly clinging and grasping. And we could talk for weeks on why that might be, but the fact is that they are. And typically we grasp things that cause stress. They are stressful. They cause suffering, right? Shoot, the rent's due in 4 days. Darn, I was not nice to that customer last night, right? It's always something in the past or the present. It's stressful thoughts that our minds are grasping. And meditation is a way of addressing that fundamental form of suffering, in that if we can do it successfully, we are no longer living in the past or the future with its stressful thoughts. We're in the moment. And very deep thinkers, much more deep thinking than I, have suggested that in fact is the meaning of life, is to be in the moment. Because when we're in the moment, we're our authentic selves, and we can feel love, and we can feel connection, and we can feel joy. And so meditation in general is a way to become in the moment. And it's not about, as we mentioned earlier, having an empty head. It's about being present, noticing the thoughts, and not judging them, and simply letting them go time and time again.
Wow.
Fantastic. Very.
I'm sorry, Doc.
That's a great explanation. Great explanation.
Hey, Dr. Hosking, how can people get in touch with you then and list your services or just talk to you and get more information?
Well, I am active on LinkedIn. That's kind of where I spend my time educating and learning myself. So I would welcome anybody to come find me on LinkedIn. I think it's Michael Hosking, PhD, on LinkedIn, and send a connection request, and I would love to accept it. And I do a lot of my writing and teaching there. And, the other social media platforms I don't take part in mostly. So I would say find me on LinkedIn. I'd be happy to connect.
And for LinkedIn, but you have shared some great stuff, because most people look at us as PhDs or doctors and all that, and there's never any problems with these guys. We all have problems. I mean,
nobody is exempt. Nobody is exempt.
But most like, well, you educated, you this, you that. No, we all go through the same thing. 1 minute less. Can you tell viewers out there that might be thinking that yeah, we all, just like what Dr. Mantell just said, no one is exempt.
No, nobody's exempt. I tell people, I speak about this all over the place. And when I talk about having severe depression and PTSD from childhood abuse, and not my family abuse, I want to be very clear about that. It was not from within the family, it's from without. And I tell people that I was on all these medications and I spent a month in a psychiatric hospital. You should see their faces. It is shocking to people. And I feel like this is a good ministry for me because I feel like I'm a good-hearted person. I feel like I contribute to society. And yes, I had really, really tough few years there and experienced things that most people haven't. So if I can normalize that, not normalize psychiatric hospitals, but normalize mental health struggles, because they're ubiquitous. Everybody struggles with them. And if I can show people that I went through the dark night of the soul and came out the other side, like St. John of the Cross talks about, then I think I'm doing a service to the world.
Thank you, Michael.
And I tell you what, it's again, you are invited back if your schedule permit.
Love to.
Me and Dr. Michael Mantell would love to have you back. I'd like to thank Dr. Michael Mantell. You come up with the best guests on record. I'd like to thank Dr. Michelle Cooley for putting together another fantastic show. I'd like to thank my radio station, KCBQ, AM 1170 The Answer, FM 96.1, Toddy, for always listening. Tuning into the James Cooley Show. It's for like Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And also Sunday syndicated at 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. It's your life. And always dream big, think big, and be big at everything you do. We'll be back tomorrow. Same time, same place. It's your life.
Thanks for joining us for the James Cooley Show. It's your life. To learn more about Dr. James Cooley and how you can support the show or become a guest, visit CooleyFoundation.org. Join James for more motivation and inspiration to help you become equipped today for the challenges of tomorrow. This has been It's Your Life with Dr. James Cooley, where you learn how to dream big, think big, and be big in everything you do.
It's Your Life is sponsored